The best apartment scenes in zombie movies. Zombie films have always thrived on claustrophobia, and few locations highlight that better than apartment buildings. In a zombie outbreak, an apartment becomes both a shield and a trap. Walls that should protect you start closing in. Stairwells funnel danger straight toward you. And neighbors you once trusted become threats the moment they turn. Over the years, several iconic movies have captured this terrifying duality, turning ordinary apartment spaces into unforgettable battlegrounds of survival. The most famous example is Rec, 2007, a Spanish masterpiece that defined the apartment zombie subgenre. Shot entirely in a quarantined Barcelona apartment building through a found footage lens, the film throws both characters and viewers into pure chaos. Narrow corridors, malfunctioning lights, and an ever-climbing death toll transform the building into a death trap. The sense of being locked in with no escape makes Rec one of the most suffocating horror films ever made, while its American remake, Quarantine, reintroduced the concept to a wider audience. Together, they cemented the idea that an apartment complex is not just a home. It's a nightmare waiting to unfold during an outbreak. Then there's #Alive, 2020, a South Korean thriller that brought the setting into the digital age. Here, a gamer finds himself isolated in his high-rise apartment as the undead take over the city. The film doesn't just focus on physical threats, but highlights the crushing loneliness, boredom, and psychological collapse of being cut off from the outside world. His desperate social media broadcasts, attempts at balcony communication, and rationing of instant noodles resonate with anyone who has ever felt trapped indoors. It's a zombie survival film that feels eerily relatable, especially after global lockdowns. The Night Eats the World, 2018, takes this premise in a darker, more introspective direction. Set in Paris, it follows a man who wakes up after a party to discover he is one of the last survivors. While zombies roam outside, the true battle is internal. Loneliness becomes its own kind of monster, as he struggles to find meaning in the silence of his once lively building. Unlike the frantic terror of Rec or the modern survival tactics of #Alive, this film explores the psychological disintegration of being trapped in familiarity that has lost all life. It's not about action. It's about how isolation eats away at the human mind. Of course, apartment buildings have appeared in zombie cinema long before these modern entries. George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, 1978, famously begins with a tense raid on a low-income apartment complex. It's not the central location of the movie, but it's unforgettable for the way it depicts society collapsing in real time. Police storm the building, tenants resist, and zombies overwhelm both sides, creating a brutal, chaotic opening that sets the stage for Romero's commentary on social decay. That apartment sequence remains one of the most harrowing early depictions of urban infection spread. Comedy also found its way into apartment zombie scenes. In Zombieland, 2009, the protagonist Columbus has an awkward yet terrifying encounter with his infected neighbor in his own apartment. The mix of slapstick humor and genuine threat is a perfect introduction to the film's balance of comedy and horror. It reminds viewers that even the smallest, most personal space, your living room, can turn deadly when the rules of society no longer apply. Beyond these, other films and shows have dipped into the apartment horror formula. Netflix's Sweet Home, 2020, flips the script by mixing zombies with monstrous mutations, turning an entire apartment complex into a vertical battlefield of survival, betrayal, and body horror. Even 28 weeks later, 2007, includes a tense apartment infiltration scene, showing how unsafe even fortified city housing can be when panic and infection collide. What makes apartments so effective for zombie storytelling is the combination of confinement and community. You're not just trapped, you're trapped with people. Neighbors, strangers, and family members become potential allies or threats depending on the circumstances. Thin walls mean you hear every scream, every shuffle, every argument. Stairwells and elevators become choke points of death. And yet, apartments also offer supplies, strong defensive positions, and the possibility of finding other survivors. It's a double-edged sword that filmmakers have exploited to maximum effect. Taken together, these apartment-set moments highlight the unique terror of being cornered in your own home. From the relentless dread of Re-See to the loneliness of #Alive and the Night Eats the World, the chaotic violence of Dawn of the Dead, and the comedic absurdity of Zombieland, apartment buildings remain one of the most hauntingly effective backdrops in zombie cinema. So next time you look down a dimly lit hallway or hear your neighbor's TV through the wall, just remember, if the dead start walking, that familiar apartment could become either your greatest fortress or your quickest tomb.